Hey guys, Jonah here back with another beer review, and we are doing another one from the Celtic Nations book, dun, 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 which is a few months ago. I'm catching up for Christmas. Excellent. But also have some crazy news. So, those of you that follow me on Facebook and yeah, other socials, but yeah, Facebook's the one I use mainly. I know, Facebook, but hey, that's the one I picked. Um, yeah, I've got my certificates back from the well, the two courses that I've done with camera recently. So I'm a beer judge, number one, which is cool. But also I'm a sensory taster, so I'm a member of the Kent tasting panel, and I've signed up to do some judging for the Champion Beer of Britain for next year, which culminates at the GBBF, the Great British Beer Festival, the biggest festival in the land. Um, Not guaranteed. They said we're not guaranteed that you'll get a space on the judging, but how cool would that be, right? Ooh, that was a bit weird. It was like I said beer judging, and then all of a sudden, boom, the lightning flashed, and well, there wasn't any thunder. Um, so yeah, really, really cool. It's good news. Anyway, so thank you for sticking with me, dear viewers. If you're new to this channel, be aware that I am now accredited, doubly so. Um, no business cards, I might have to draw them on. But yeah, officially a beer judge now, um, which is cool. And some people, yeah, have given me some really nice messages and feedback on socials. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite a happy bunny. Okay, so the beer we are doing is a Tiny Rebel, and it says Tiny Rebel on it, but also it has this little dude, this little bear motif, which means it's Tiny Rebel, and it's a hazy IPA at 4.8. And if you didn't know, the actual name is just Haze, with some sort of rainbow colours there. Interesting. And it says what those are on the back. So on the eyes, it's hazy. On the nose, it's citrus. On the taste, tangerine and grapefruit, which is not unusual. We have one rule: never just make vanilla ice cream. Well, I would say, what's wrong with vanilla ice cream? I love vanilla ice cream. It is by far, in my opinion, the best. I'm looking at the ingredients. So we've got wheat, we've got oats, we've got barley, we've got some yeast, we've got hops. And if I look down here, so dear viewer, I am reading off something that's over there. We've got mosaic cryo hops in here. We've got some talus hops, which give the high notes, if I remember rightly, the kind of grapey kind of notes, and melons and things like that. And you know how I love my melons. And Idaho 7 as well, which is cool. The only problem is this is this has been in the fridge for about a week, and it is unbelievably tight, um, taut like a drum skin. So I have got this handy, and I'm going to open this and in honor of Tiny Rebel, I'm going to open this one carefully. Right. And I really hope. Oh, wow, that was quite taut, but no spillage as of yet. No, fantastic. Well, that's a gorgeous smelling beer. It's Friday, so you know what time it is. It's beer o'clock. So let's get this in. Hopefully it won't produce it. Oh, it is going to produce a massive head. So I'm going to have to pull this one a bit. What's that word again? Carefully. Which, if you didn't know, dear viewer, is a place in Wales. Um, Wow. Right. I might not be able to do the whole thing in one. Look at that. Ridiculous. Right, let's do one of these pictures and we'll see what we get there. Cheeky grin and all that kind of stuff. Wow, that's yeah, so this is why I was worried that it was going to explode. Look at that. Look at the size of some of those, man. Absolutely massive. Mahoosive. And I've let it go, but it's over 3 fingers worth of head, which is absolutely crazy. Let's have a look before we go in here. I'm not worried because it's what is it? It's under 5, isn't it? 4.8%. So it's not gonna do anything, alcohol wise, really. Look at that though. Really, they're hazy by name, hazy by nature. But I would call that a straw colour. That is not normal kind of a yellowy colour, is it? That is definitely a straw colour. Well, that's what I'm saying it is. Pure as the driven snow white head. Massive, massive bubbles. See what we get on the nose. Yeah, so we're definitely getting that kind of citrus thing. But yeah, we are getting the high notes as well, which I always say are high notes, which is a kind of wine term, I guess. But it's because it's the wine kind of things, the fresh, not the berries. Don't worry about the berries, especially with that color. But we're talking about the really fresh kind of grape notes, lotus, melon, that kind of thing. And that's sort of what I'm getting here in the background. Absolutely lovely. Right, let us dive in, dear viewer. Chin chin, it's Friday. Let's drink a beer. Wow. So, first off, really well carbonated. Um, Finished quite dry as well, but there's lots of zestiness in there. So, unsurprisingly, we're getting the things like grapefruit, definitely. Maybe a touch of kind of lemon and lime type kind of zest, but predominantly that grapefruity type stuff. Maybe a hint of orange as well, or maybe orange blossom. And then if you dive deeper, this is my first beer. I haven't had any beers before. Um, yeah, those high notes are there. So anything kind of fruit wise that's white, that's pale, sort of yellow, pale green, those types of things. Hmm. Yeah, definitely citrusy, that kind of stuff. Um, the tropical notes, not so much. Perhaps there are things sort of kiwi mango type things going on there, but it's definitely not up front. This is in the background because this is quite a zesty one for a light beer as well, under 5% ABV. Don't forget. Um, yeah, surprisingly zesty. Ooh, once more, quite a lot of zest, a bit of pith as well. Now it's quite for a light beer. It's quite like, "Urgh." But perhaps because the ABV is lower, you don't notice it so more. Maybe that's why. And there's not a huge aftertaste, considering there's oats and Hall and Oats. I was going to say no. There's what's the other one? Wheat and oats. I keep thinking Hall and Oats. My God, it's a man eater, you know. Um, yeah, surprisingly not creamy. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's a bit watery. But what they have done is made that lovely kind of haze colour, which I think is pretty good. Whoa, It's really refreshing as well, in the same way as a kind of lager and a pale ale, I guess, are refreshing. This is really refreshing, which is surprising in a hazy. Usually they're quite sort of juicy. Right, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this all done in one. It's crazy considering this is only a 330 can as well. I've had to do it in two pours, 2 iterations. And look, that one, that half of a half, is under a finger's head. I wonder if I get something different this time. That would be really interesting. I wasn't getting much lacing. That's why I swirled the glass. Usually, if I'm not swirling my glass, especially this one with the kind of flute shape, the tulip, shall we say. Wow, I told you it was quite carbonated. It's because I want to preserve the foam. But when you get something like that, it's not gonna work, is it? Right, let's dive in for some more. Wow, it's difficult to drink a beer quickly when it's really overcarbonated. That's why having cask beers sometimes is much better than having a draft beer. Um, although, if you've got a really good publican and set everything up nicely, it shouldn't matter. But sometimes I find, usually with bottle beers, but especially with draft beers as well, sometimes the carbonation level is a bit too high. And sometimes because they've chilled the lines down so much, or have gone through a kind of artificial chiller, uh, the liquid really absorbs the carbon dioxide, and it gives me gas and bloating and all sorts of things. And dear friends, that could end in tears. If not mine, then it would be yours. Wow, it's so zesty. I mean, that is the overarching um, flavor that I'm getting is just pith and like bitter kind of almost like Angosteen bitters, like it's really zesty and bitter. It's crazy. But always in the background are those kind of other things going on. Bit of tropical, bit of high kind of fruit wine like flavors and melon, especially melon. Really interesting beer, but yeah, I'm totally surprised for a 4.8% beer. Absolutely nuts. Anyway, if you are watching this, and I know some people don't watch these reviews straight away, but if you're watching this on Friday, be aware there is a camera event in Faversham tomorrow at the Elephant, which is pub of the year. So that's why we're going there. So if you fancy meeting up with Unclejona, having a couple of beers, we're also going to a couple of the micro pubs there in Faversham as well. Um, feel free to come and join us. We're not that hard to find. Um, Middle-aged spread, shall we say? Um, certain lack of hair, even though from the front I still got some. From the back, maybe not so much. But please feel free to come along and say hello. Um, like I say, Faversham, we're getting there around 2:30. There was talk of a brewery visit, but I'm not 100% sure that's going ahead now. It's not Shepherd Neame either. It's one of the other Faversham breweries. And yeah, getting there, especially when you're drinking and you're having to walk, it's a good half hour, 40-minute walk. So not 100% sure about that. But come and have some drinks with us anyway. Right, I'm going to finish this. You guys take care. Take care of each other. Remember, it's the weekend now, so you're allowed to drink some beer. And we'll see you for another beer review such as this real soon. Ah, zesty.